Alright, Chapter 5, Lesson 2, Degree of a Polynomial. So the objective is to identify the degrees of a polynomial, to write polynomial in standard form, and to evaluate polynomial using a calculator. Like I said before, for the rest of the year we're going to be doing algebra. Next year you're going to be allowed to use a calculator, so I am fine with you using calculators from now on until the end of the year. Monomial, degrees of monomial. So to find the degrees of monomial, you just have to look at the exponents. So if you look right here, the easiest way for me to show you is just examples, and I know sometimes kind of boring, but that's the easiest way for me to show you. So monomial is 11x, and there is an imaginary 1. Anything that doesn't have an exponent is an automatic raised to 1, because it's just x times it's by itself. Okay, so that means the degree of the monomial is 1. Alright, so if I look at the next one, x, there's a 1. I know I put it on top, but you get my point. X1, so that's where this 1 comes from, plus 2, that's where this 2 comes from. The degree of the polynomial is 3. Alright, so the next one, the 2, you only look at exponents that are connected to the variable. So we have a positive 2 plus a positive 5 is 7. The next one is 4. Oops, I thought I circled it. Plus 3 plus 2. And then there's this 1 because of the z has a 1 right there. Plus 1 equals 10. Yes, I did want you to write that in your notebook. So the degree is the value of the greatest exponent of any expression except the constant in the polynomial. Okay, so the difference between what we just did and what we're about to do is that they were all monomials. These are polynomials that are not a monomial, so like a binomial or trinomial. That's what we're looking at now. So whenever there's just one term, you can just add them all. When there's two terms, then you have to do it this way. So the degree is the value of the greatest exponent. So 5y squared plus 16y. The degree of its monomials is 2. So this first number is split up. 5y squared, that's where the 2 comes from. And the next one is a 1, because 16y1, so that's where the 1 comes from. So the degree of the polynomial is 2, because it's the greatest exponent. If that was a 3, then it would be 3. So let's go on to the next one. This polynomial, the degree of the first term is 2 and 3. 2 plus 3 is 5, that's where that comes from. And then 2mn, there's 1 that they're raised to. 1 plus 1 is 2. And then the next one, n to the 4th, is just n to the 4th. And so that's 4. So the greatest exponent number is 5, so that's why there's 5. Okay, so the next one is 19 minus 3x. This one, there's no variable, so that's why there's a 0. If there was a variable, then there would be a 1. 3x to the 1 is a 1. So the degree of the polynomial is 1. So polynomials with one variable whose greatest degree is 0, 1, 2, or 3 have special names. The easiest thing for me to do is tell you to memorize this, because the degree, whenever it's a polynomial and the degree is 0, it's a constant. It's constant because there's no variable next to it. A variable changes things. So that's the way you can remember that. The number of terms monomial, you know that already. So the degree, 4x minus 7, is linear. When you have a linear equation, that means that when you graph it on a line, it'll be a line. It'll be linear. If you have a quadratic equation, it's not going to be linear. And that's when you have your biggest degree is 2. 5x cubed, your biggest degree is 3, and this one's kind of easy to remember because it's cubic. So let's go on to, okay, so write the polynomial in standard form and give its degree. I'm going to do number 2 with you. X to the 5th plus 4x to the 7th minus 2x squared plus x. That really ugly looking thing is an x. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite it in standard form, which means I'm just going to write it my highest degree to my lowest degree. So 4x to the 7th is my highest degree. And it's positive, so because of the plus and sign, so I'm not going to put a negative or a minus in front. So plus x to the 5th, I have a positive x to the 5th. If for some reason there was a negative in front, that would be minus x to the 5th. Minus, there's a minus in front of that one, 2x squared. And then I have plus x. Writing something in standard form means you're writing your highest exponent to your lowest exponent. Your highest degree to your lowest degree. And give its degree. The degree is 7. Because that's my highest one. Okay, so then I'm going to do another one from the second portion. Choose one word from each list to describe the polynomial. List 1 is constant, linear, quadratic, cubic. List 2 is monomial, binomial, or trinomial. So number 6 is the one I'm going to do with you. 1 7/10 x squared plus 3 5/10. Well, first I need to determine constant, linear, or quadratic. And when I'm looking at that, I'm looking at the degree. My degree is 2. My highest degree is 2, which means it's quadratic. And then when I'm seeing if it's a monomial, binomial, or trinomial, I'm looking at terms. So this is terms. So there's 1 term, 2 terms, which means it is a binomial. Man, I just realized what kind of view you have of my face right now. It's really, really pretty. You can see my double chin. Okay. I know I'm laughing at myself. It's way too early in the morning. Okay. Number 9 and number 10. I'm going to do number 10 with you. I want you to read the directions while I am trying to figure out how to delete this stuff. Delete. Okay. Number 10. All you're doing, it says you can use a calculator, which I've told you now. Everything we're doing from now on to the end of the year is algebra. You're going to be allowed to use a calculator. I encourage you to use the calculator. It is your friend. However, I want to see your steps. I want to see all the work you're doing, as in if there's stuff that you have to do order of operations. I want to see the steps. I don't want you to just type it all in your calculator. However, it is a resource. So once you've done everything, if you notice, oh, this kind of looks kind of funny, and you want to check it, and you want to put that whole thing in your calculator should know if you multiply or divide first, if you add or subtract first, or what it does. It will do it for you. But I still want to see that you know how to do it. So number 10, when z equals 2 and z equals -5, all you are doing is plugging it in twice. So z equals 2 and z equals -5. That means you're going to have 2 separate answers. So 2z cubed plus 4z squared minus z plus 2. So 2z cubed, when it is z equals 2, that is 2 times 2 cubed plus 4 times 2 squared minus 2 plus 2. Here's what I mean when I want to see everything. 2 times 2 cubed is 2 times 8 plus 4 times 2 cubed is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Minus 2 plus 2. 2 times 8 is 16 plus 16 minus 2 plus 2. Now you have adding and subtracting. Everything is adding and subtracting, and I know in order of operations you go from left to right. But if you notice right here, when you subtract 2 and add 2 to anything, it goes away. It cancels out. Minus 2 plus 2. So 16 plus 16 is all you're really left with. 16 plus 16 is 32. Minus 2 would be 30. Plus 2 would be 32. So your answer is 32. Okay, so that is for the first one. Now let's do the next one when z equals negative 5. So I'm going to rewrite it. 2 times negative 5 cubed plus 4 times negative 5, that's a 4, don't make fun of it, squared, minus negative 5 plus 2. Negative 5 cubed is negative 125. That's negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5. A negative times a negative is a positive 25 times negative 5 is negative 125. I just wanted to show you just in case you didn't believe me. Plus 4 times negative 5 squared is negative 5 times negative 5, which is a positive 25. Minus negative 5 means you're going to be adding because you do keep, flip, change. Plus 2. 2 times negative 125 is negative 250 plus 100 plus 5 plus 2. Now if I go from left to right, you can either add all your positives and then do negative 250 plus that number. I'm going to go from left to right, negative 250 plus 100. I don't want to use that color. Negative 250 plus 100 is negative 150. Plus 5 plus 2. That's like negative 150 plus 5 would be negative 145. Plus 2 is negative 143. So, my answer would be when z is 2 and z is negative 5, then it would be 32 and negative 143. So here's what I want from you. I want you to write down all the rest of the questions, that even the ones we solved, the ones we didn't solve. Tomorrow when you come into class, we're going to solve them. You can attempt them on your own. That would be perfectly fine. But I really, really want you to just write them in your notebook so we don't waste time in class tomorrow writing these in our notebook. Okay, see you tomorrow.